Good morning, students. Let us start next topic. Module 2, Lesson 2, Consumption Function. This lesson is quite big, and so I divided this lesson into two parts. In the part 1, we are going to discuss meaning of consumption function, average propensity to consume, marginal propensity to consume. So these are the points we are going to cover in the and saving function. In the second part, we will discuss factors affecting the consumption function. So these are the things that we are going to discuss in this topic. So first, when we are talking about consumption function, we should understand the meaning of consumption function. Generally, when we talk about consumption function, that analysis is given by Keynes. So Keynes' analysis of consumption function is a major landmark in the history of economic doctrines. Keynes' invention of the consumption function is perhaps the single most important contribution of Keynes to modern macroeconomics. So when we say that consumption function, we have to understand whatever the meaning given by Keynes. The consumption function shows the relationship between income and consumption. Keynes called it the propensity to consume. It shows the functional relationship between two aggregates. Which are the two aggregates? Total consumption and gross national income. So symbolically, this relationship is expressed as C is equal to function of Y, where C is a consumption, Y is a income, and F is a functional relationship. In a linear form of consumption function, it can be expressed as C is equal to A plus CY. It shows that consumption is equal to A, an autonomous consumption taking place when the income is zero. Understand this. When the income is zero, even then there is a consumption. So it stands for A is the autonomous consumption taking place when income is zero, plus CY, small c, capital Y, a constant proportion of income. So even if income is zero, the consumption will not be zero, but it will be equal to A. In the equation, C is the marginal propensity to consume, and it is constant at all levels of income. However, the average propensity to consume falls steadily as the income rises. So we have to understand how it happens. So in the next slide, I will tell you how it happens. So first we should know average propensity to consume. The average propensity to consume is the ratio of aggregate consumption to aggregate income. It is calculated by dividing consumption expenditure by income. So APC means average propensity to consume is equal to C upon Y. When average propensity to consume, the APC declines as income increases because the proportion of income spent on consumption decreases. Now we have to show it with the help of diagram. Students, when the diagram is there, you have to write in a proper way. After giving diagram, write like this, explanation of the diagram, and then you have to write the explanation of the diagram. First, along with the x-axis, we measured income. Along with y-axis, we measured consumption. The average propensity to consume is shown in the diagram. The APC is any one point on CC curve. This is CC curve, which indicates the ratio of consumption to income. Income and consumption, the ratio of consumption to income. So APC average propensity to consume is any one point on the CC curve. So APC at point A, we are showing here APC at point A on the CC curve is equal to OC1 divided by OY1. OC1 divided by OY1, because our formula is APC is equal to C upon Y. So C is consumption, OC1, Y is income, OY1. So OC1 divided by OY1. Then after this A point, the curve CC is flattening to the right. It is not going upwards like this straight. It is flattening. That it shows that APC declines as income increases. That means average propensity to consume declines as income increases. So from here the curve is flattening like this. So you have to understand that as income rises, APC declines. This is what you have to write about average propensity to consume. Understand this point, that APC, this formula APC is equal to C divided by Y. C stands for consumption, Y stands for income. APC is average propensity to consume. Okay, now we'll turn to the next point, marginal propensity to consume. In short, MPC. Marginal means what? When whatever the change is there, that is shown by marginal. So here the definition of marginal propensity to consume, or MPC, how we are measuring is MPC measures the change in consumption. That is delta C. Delta is for change, C for consumption. Why there is a change in consumption? Because due to the change in income, because income changes, consumption also changes. So both the things, income and consumption, we are showing by delta C and delta Y. Thus the marginal propensity to consume is defined as the ratio of a change in consumption to the change in income. That is MPC is equal to delta C upon delta Y. Okay, where MPC is marginal propensity to consume and delta stands for change. Any change in consumption, any change in Y, that is income, and what is the reaction on consumption, that is there in this formula. Now we will see the diagram. Again the same thing, that in this diagram along with x-axis we measured income, along with y-axis we measured consumption. Okay, and we are showing, or we are explaining MPC concept in this diagram. That means when income increases, consumption also increases. This is as simple as such. Income is increasing from Y1 to Y2, consumption is increasing from C1 to C2. That is what we are showing. So when income increases from Y1 to Y2, the consumption increases from C1 to C2. So the change in income, that is Y1 to Y2, this is increase in income from Y1 to Y2, and the change in consumption from C1 to C2, that is shown in the diagram. So MPC is delta C by delta Y, delta C by delta Y. Diagrammatically, MPC refers to the slope of consumption curve. As income rises, marginal propensity to consume will tend to fall. Here CC, this consumption curve, it is falling, it is flattening. So you have to understand that when income is rising, consumption is also rising, but the marginal propensity to consume will tend to fall. There are various reasons for that. That is in the next chapter we will discuss about that. So understand here how you have to measure marginal propensity to consume by delta C upon delta Y, and you have to show the curve like this, and income is rising, consumption is also rising. So Y1 to Y2, it is a delta Y, and C1 to C2 is delta C. Okay, now the next point, that is saving function. Basically, what is the saving? Saving is what? Income minus consumption, that is saving. So the definition we can give like this: the saving function is the counterpart of consumption function. The amount of savings at any level of income is difference between the income and consumption expenditure. So saving is equal to Y minus C. S stands for saving, Y stands for income, and C stands for consumption. So whatever income we are getting, in that whatever amount of money we are spending on consumption, and what remains, that is called as saving. So S is equal to Y minus C. Now we will discuss about the diagram. In this diagram again, along with x-axis we measured income, along with y-axis we measured consumption and saving, because here we have to show both the things, consumption as well as saving. So we will see that. In the diagram, the curve SS from here to here, curve SS is the saving curve. Understand this, saving curve. This below x-axis, this is a negative, it goes in minus, and above x-axis it is going into the positive side, right? So when first understand the diagram and then I'll explain it to you in a very simple language. At OY0, here, OY0, the level of income, this is the level of income, the consumption is equal to income. The consumption is equal to income. Here, consumption and income both are same. Whatever the income is there, that is consumption. So here at point Y0, consumption is equal to income. So saving is 0. If consumption is equal to income, that means whatever money we are getting, that is we are spending, right? So there is no saving. At this point, consumption is equal to income and there is no saving. So saving is 0. Now understand, when the income is lower than OY1, when the income is lower than OY1, this OY0, income is lower than OY0, the consumption is lower than the income, because here there is a income, and below this there is there is a consumption. Though income is 0, even then there is a consumption. That means this, when the income is lower than OY0, the consumption is lower. Understand this point. Consumption is lower than the income, and the proportion of income is not consumed is this is like consumption is lower than income and the portion of income not consumed is saved. This is shown by the vertical distance between 45 degrees line. See now, from here to here, this is 45-degree line. Okay, the consumption curve is CC. This is a consumption curve. At 0 income also there is a consumption. In the last this thing I told you that we are showing it by A, right? So at 0 income there is a consumption. Okay, so this is shown by the vertical distance between 45-degree line and the consumption curve CC. The consumption curve is CC. Okay, now the consumption curve CC, and by the vertical distance between x-axis and saving curve. X-axis is this and this is the saving curve, right? So this part is called as dis saving and this part is also called as dis saving, because here also at this A point, whatever is the income, that is the consumption. So there are no saving. This point, A point, is showing that whatever is the income, that is consumed, so there is no saving. So this part is called as dis saving, as well as this part is also called as dis saving. And as the income rises, then there is a saving. So Y minus C. Understand this point. I think that it is clear to you. Understand, this is SS curve, this is CC curve, consumption curve. At 0 income also there is a consumption, but as income rises, consumption also rises. So this point is showing that, and after that consumption is less than the income, so that amount of money is being saved by the people, right? This is what you have to show about the consumption function. So when the question will be asked, explain consumption function, then you have to show all these points, that is marginal propensity to consume, average propensity to consume. This first you have to discuss about the meaning of consumption function, then average propensity to consume, then marginal propensity to consume, and consumption function. 3 diagrams are important over here. Thank you very much.